15 accountants tried failed. But the delivery girl revealed an unexpected truth that changed everything. Mia's heart raced as she pedaled her worn bicycle down Maple Street, the wind whipping through her hair. At 19, she was far from just a delivery girl. She was the heartbeat of the small Ohio town, balancing the weight of responsibility as a single mother and younger brother depended on her. Every day she carried not just food, but stories and dreams, both fragile and fierce, embedded in their neatly packaged boxes. But today felt different. As Mia wheeled up to the quaint cafe where the horde of accountants awaited, she felt the air thrum with unfamiliar energy. They arrived in sleek suits, exuding confidence, as if their crisp shirts and tailored jackets could fix the town's economic despair. With their fancy coffee orders and jargon that swirled around Mia like an invisible fog, they barely acknowledged her presence. With sharp glances, they dismissed her just a delivery girl. After all, her cheeks flushed, but the pride in her community spilled over. Mrs. Jenkins, who had lost her husband to war, needed help with her yard. The Johnsons were barely making ends meet, struggling to keep their grocery store open. But those were stories lost on the men in suits, who spent their lunch laughing about high-rise buildings and margins. In the midst of the accountant's flamboyant plans, the news broke like a thunderclap. Mr. Thompson, the elderly war veteran who had given so much for his country, faced foreclosure on his home. The cafe fell silent. Mr. Thompson wasn't just a veteran. He was a living tapestry of the town, sharing stories of love and sacrifice that echoed through the generations. Now, his home, a symbol of resilience, was at risk. Mia's chest tightened, anger kindling within her. She stood and cleared her throat, the moment amplifying her smallness. "Listen up," she blurted, the words spilling forth like water from a broken dam. Mr. Thompson's home isn't just a roof over his head. It's a piece of all of us. People here don't need charity thrown at them. They need support. The accountants looked at her like she was an intruder, but Mia's determination filled the air. With each word, she painted vivid images of her neighbors, each with hopes and fears, grit and grace. Faces of hard work flashed in her mind, the elderly couple who sat on their porch and waved to everyone. The kids who helped Mia with chores. You think throwing a fancy event will save this town? You have no idea what we truly care about. Heavy breaths filled the room as she went deeper into their struggles. She recounted how a simple meal could bridge gaps. How laughter over barbecue on a Friday meant more than any economic report could show. In this tight-knit community, it was loyalty, not numbers, that mattered. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As her voice grew bold, something shifted. Faces hardened by indifference began to soften. Vulnerabilities surfaced. They started to see beyond their suits and spreadsheets, realizing that it wasn't just economy they were discussing, it was humanity. But just as the tension simmered into an unspoken understanding, Mia's phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a frantic message from her mother. A financial crisis at home. She stood at a crossroad, a choice between supporting her own family or standing up for her community. What would she do now? The roar of emotion swirled around her. Would Mia take a leap of faith, or would she falter in the name of her own survival? Mia's hands trembled as she read the message a second time. A financial crisis at home. Panic nestled in her chest like a tight knot. She stole a glimpse at the accountants, their faces now reflecting a blend of curiosity and discomfort. Her mind raced. Visiting her mom meant diving deeper into their personal struggles, but her heart tugged her towards Mr. Thompson and her neighbors. They needed her fight. The words she had just shared hung in the air like a fragile truth, one that shifted the aura of the cafe. Could she abandon it now? Mia, someone's voice broke through her haze. It was Theo, one of the accountants, his brow furrowed. You have a point. If community matters, then we need to understand how we can help. not just out of obligation but genuinely. His words rippled through the room. Heads nodded, some accountants exchanging thoughtful glances. But the sting of responsibility for her own family felt sharper than ever. She bit her lip, forcing back the swell of emotion that threatened to spill over. "Look, I know you're all used to charts and figures," Mia said, her voice steadying, "but this isn't about numbers. It's about real people facing real problems. It requires heart." She paused, locking eyes with Theo. "What about starting a community event? Not just a fundraiser but something to forge connections, a summer block party where everyone can share and support." A flicker of interest sparked in the group. The idea blossomed as they began tossing out suggestions. Each voice added layers to what could transform from just a gathering into a true community revival. Mia felt the warmth of encouragement, and a small smile crept onto her face. Yes, they could do this together. But then her phone buzzed again, a reminder that her own family still hung in the balance. I really need to go," she mumbled, the excitement dulling as reality crept back in. "Wait," Theo interjected, rising quickly. "What if we all came together, not just to plan this event but to directly support you two? We can create a fund. Is that something we can explore?" Mia's heart raced. This was the accountability she desperately needed. With a flicker of hope reigniting within her, she nodded slowly. A fund could help ease her burden, allow her more space to fight for Mr. Thompson, and maybe even help others along the way. "What if we turned this into a movement?" Theo continued, eyes brightening. "A movement where everyone feels a sense of belonging, and every dollar stays local." The idea rippled through the accountants. They began discussing strategies, pooling expertise as energy filled the room, a stark contrast to how it had felt just moments before. Yet amidst the excitement, Mia's mind tugged at her. And what if we fail? What if we can't rally the community or save Mr. Thompson's house? "Failure isn't the end. It's part of the journey," said Theo, his tone firm yet understanding. "But it starts with taking that first step together. You've already taken it." Deep down, Mia felt her worries lift slightly. What if there was a way to balance both her family and her community? Would she find the strength to stand firm against the tide of uncertainty? As talks continued, and laughter began to break out among the accountants, Mia felt a glimmer of determination. She had to try for Mr. Thompson, for her neighbors, and for herself. But what if all this momentum fell apart at the first hurdle? With those unanswered questions lingering, Mia's heart raced once more, aware that change was brewing on the horizon. If only she could hold it together long enough to see it through. What would happen next? The sunlight streamed through the cafe windows, glittering off coffee cups and tables. But all Mia could focus on were the shadows of doubt hovering over her heart. She glanced at Theo, who was animatedly discussing plans with the others, his enthusiasm palpable. It was contagious, but a weight still rested heavily on her shoulders. Could she truly carry this burden while facing her own family's crisis? "Mia, are you in?" Theo's voice broke her reverie. The rest of the group turned to her, their eager smiles urging her to commit. She nodded, but doubt shadowed her eyes. "Absolutely. Let us make a difference." Her voice was stronger than she felt, but the sparks of hope from Theo and the team wrapped around her like a warm blanket. They began brainstorming ideas for the summer block party, the room buzzing with ideas that ranged from local vendors to live music. Yet, as they sketched out enthusiastic plans, Mia's phone buzzed again. It was her mom. "We really need to talk. It's urgent." Panic swept over her. She wanted to reply, but the words wouldn't form. What could she say that wouldn't make things worse? The room faded as the bright chatter of her coworkers blurred into the background. Her thoughts spiraled. How could she juggle this community effort and her family's pressing needs? Was she being selfish even entertaining this? "Mia." Theo's voice cut through her haze again. "Are you okay? You seem distant." Taking a breath, she forced herself to smile. "Yes, I just need some time to figure things out personally." "Hey, we're rooting for you, whatever it is. And we're in this together," Theo assured her. The sincerity in his eyes warmed her. She realized they were willing to help, not just as accountants but as friends. Maybe this was the difference. She had been missing real support from a community she had longed to forge deeper connections with. But the thought of not having her family's support weighed heavily on her mind. The realization began to gnaw at her, an uncertainty she had to confront if she wanted to stand firm. Days passed, and the buzz of planning transformed into a tangible excitement. They had reserved the park, reached out to local bands, even started a social media page. Mia felt herself swept into the momentum, cherishing every moment when laughter lifted her spirit. Community spirits were higher than ever. Yet the text messages from her mom didn't stop. Every ping was a harsh reminder of the storm brewing at home. Finally, she decided she had to face it. With shaky hands, she summoned the courage to open the chat. "Mom, I'm here for you. What do you need?" The response was immediate and gut-wrenching. "I didn't want to burden you, but we're on the verge of losing the house. Mia, I need your help." Her heart raced. The cafe felt suddenly too small, the walls closing in. The joyful chaos around her blurred into silence. Would she abandon her community goal? What would happen to the block party that had started to feel like a beacon of hope? Mia's stomach twisted. As she glanced around the room, she saw the team bustling with energy, fueled by their own optimism. And yet, the reality at home crashed brutal and harsh into her dreams of community. Could she find a way to save both her family and the dreams of her neighborhood? As the weight of responsibility settled in, the next moment felt pivotal. Would she voice her fear and risk shattering the excitement, or forge ahead with a secret burden? With dread and resilience, she steeled her resolve. What was she willing to sacrifice to ensure everyone thrived? And when her voice finally rose over the noise, what unexpected truths would she have to confront? Mia took a deep breath, an internal battle raging within her. The vibrant conversations flowed around her, but they felt like distant echoes. She had to decide, and fast. She could either be forthright with her colleagues, sharing the heavy burden of her family's crisis, or she could keep silent, pushing through the excitement of the planning and pretending everything was fine. "Okay, listen up everyone." Theo's voice rang out, snapping her back to the moment. The group quieted, their eyes on him, waiting for the next wave of inspiration. As he pitched an idea for the event, Mia's heart sank further. She felt like a ghost in her own life, just watching as the world moved on without her. Could she really go on pretending? But the thought of disappointing Theo and the rest of the team tugged painfully at her. Mia let her gaze drift to her phone on the table. Just beyond the screen lay the reality of her world, the harsh notifications that threatened to shatter her fragile hope. "Are you sure you're okay?" Theo leaned closer, concern etched on his face. "You seem anxious. I mean, we're all excited about the block party. I don't want you to feel pressured if you're dealing with something." His words were like a lifeline, and within her, a flicker of bravery sparked. If she could just articulate her worries, perhaps she wouldn't feel so hopeless. She swallowed, a knot forming in her throat. "Actually, I need to share something," she began, hesitating as the team turned their attention to her. "I just received a message from my mom. It's about home." As the words tumbled out, a rush of fear threatened to silence her. But she pressed on. "She told me that we might lose the house, and I don't know how to balance helping with the block party and being there for my family." A silence followed her confession, heavy and profound. The rest of the group exchanged quick glances, the joy in the room shifting as they processed her revelation. "Mia," Theo responded, his voice steady, "thank you for sharing that. It must be incredibly hard for you." Tears pricked her eyes, grateful for the space she felt now to express her struggles. "It is. I want to help, but I don't want to let anyone down here either. This project means so much to me." Her voice cracked, the weight of her burden feeling both unbearable and oddly lighter now that it was shared. The team rallied around her. "You won't let anyone down. We're a team. We'll figure this out," one of her colleagues chimed in. "We can always adjust things for the block party." Mia felt the energies shift, the tension easing slightly. But a fresh wave of anxiety washed over her. Did this mean she simply had to walk away from her family's crisis? "Are you sure?" she questioned, clutching the table. I don't want to complicate everything. Theo's face was earnest. We support you, Mia. That's what community is about. Besides, if anyone can juggle both, it's you. As the warmth of his words wrapped around her, a part of Mia felt hopeful despite her whirling thoughts. Maybe she could lean on this newfound support while facing her family issues. But what if her family needed her more than she thought? The discussions resumed, energy bouncing back. They engaged with fresh ideas, but Mia's heart danced between two worlds. Her aching familial loyalty and the vibrant sense of community blossoming around her. With every laugh from the team, she felt the first tremors of hope rising within. Yet, a voice in her head whispered that their kindness might not be enough to save her family. As Mia absorbed the warmth from her peers, she felt pangs of grief ripple through her heart. She wanted so deeply to embrace this moment, but her thoughts wavered like the flickering candlelight. Could she be the bridge between family and community, or would she end up failing both? Just then, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with another message from her mom. She held her breath, dread curling in her stomach. They'd face an important turning point soon, but what would it reveal about her choices? What if her mom had news that would change everything? Mia's heart raced as she stared at the screen, the message teasing her with uncertainty. It read simply, "We need to talk. It's important." The weight of those words pressed down on her like a stone. How could she possibly focus on the block party now? Thoughts raced through her mind, images of her family packing up their lives. The possibility of saying goodbye to cherished memories that echoed through her childhood home. She took a deep breath, the laughter around her ringing in her ears, half intoxicating and half bitter. Looking up from her phone, she noticed her team animatedly discussing decorations and the music lineup. They were all so passionate, sharing ideas like they were building a dream together. And yet the nightmare lurking at home clawed at her insides. "I'll be right back," she mumbled, excusing herself from the vibrant chaos. Stepping outside into the crisp air felt like a relief, but it also amplified the turmoil brewing inside her. She scrolled through her mom's contact, her thumb hovering over the call button, but fear stopped her. What would she say? "Hey, Mom, I'm stuck in the middle of a planning meeting for a block party while you're dealing with everything. I can't help you right now." No, it didn't feel right. Suddenly, the door swung open behind her. It was Theo, concern written all over his face. "Mia, are you okay? You've been gone a minute." "Yeah, just needed some air." She forced a smile, though it felt like heavy fabric stitching through her lips. Theo studied her for a moment, and she could see the understanding in his eyes. "You don't need to explain. But if you want to talk," he gestured vaguely, leaving the invitation open. "What if it complicates things?" she whispered, the words almost slipping out like a confession. "Life is complicated, Mia. You know that as much as anyone. Lean on us." He paused, then said, "Maybe I can help? I mean, I'm not just here for the planning, right? We're friends too." At his sincere offer, something shifted in Mia. It was a small movement, a crack in the wall she built around herself. She nodded slowly. I want to help my family, but I don't want to leave my team hanging." Theo considered her, the silence stretching comfortably between them. "What if we could find a way to do both? Help your family and still be there for the block party?" Those words caught her off guard. What could that even look like? She'd been so fixated on the wrongness of the situation that she hadn't even explored possibilities. As she deliberated, her phone rang again, interrupting her thoughts. It was her mom. "I have to take this," she said nervously. Theo nodded and stepped a few feet away, giving her space. Mia answered hesitantly. "Mom? Mia, I'm glad you picked up. Things are getting worse here." The crack in her mother's voice twisted painfully in Mia's chest. "What do you mean? What happened?" The urgency in her tone was more pronounced than she intended. I don't know how to face this alone. Can you come home this weekend? We could really use your help." Every word felt like a punch. The reality of it burdened her. "I'll do my best, Mom. I'm juggling a lot right now." "I know, honey. Just please come." Her mom's plea lingered in the air long after the call ended. Mia felt torn once again, a fissure dividing her responsibilities. If only she could balance everything. She glanced at Theo, who was watching her with curiosity and warmth. Could Theo's idea of managing both actually work? Or would secrets and fears push her further away from both? As she stepped back inside, the laughter felt louder now, almost mocking. But beneath it, she sensed the glimmer of hope sparkling as a possibility. Maybe she could find a way to bridge her two worlds after all, but how? Would her choices lead to a deeper understanding or more chaos? At that moment, the decision ahead weighed heavily again. Mia had to figure it out before everything unraveled. What path would she take? And what would it mean for her loyalty to her family and her community? Mia took a moment to collect herself, the weight of her mom's request still hanging heavy in the air. She re-entered the buzz of the gathering, the cheerful banter washing over her, but it didn't settle the chaos swirling inside her. Her eyes instinctively hunted for Theo, who stood by a table covered in vibrant decorations, laughing at something Chloe, the team's most enthusiastic planner, had just said. The contrast between the laughter and the heaviness of her family's situation gnawed at her. Mia closed her eyes for a heartbeat, allowing the noise to fade as she conjured images of home, her mother's smile, the warm smell of cookies baking, her father's reassuring presence. But with these memories came the undeniable truth of the upheaval they now faced. "Hey, Mia, you good?" Chloe's bright voice cut into her thoughts. "Yeah, just a lot on my mind," Mia replied automatically, forcing a smile that felt too tight. She could see the concern flickering in Chloe's eyes, but she needed to pull herself together. The more we throw ourselves into this party, the more we'll distract ourselves from everything else, Chloe added, hinting at what they both knew that, under the joyous surface, uncertainty ran deep. Mia nodded. "Right. Let us make it the best block party ever." As she joined Theo and Chloe in discussing the music lineup, her mind began drifting again. "We need to highlight the community vibe," Theo suggested enthusiastically, as he placed sticky notes on a large planner board. "Local talents, food trucks, we can showcase everything this neighborhood stands for." Mia hadn't thought about the party in that way before. Something about the idea of highlighting their community felt comforting. "Yeah, and maybe we could set up a small corner for people to share their stories," she added tentatively. "A way for neighbors to connect, especially since things have been hard lately." "Great idea," Chloe exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "We can fashion it into a small storytelling stage, maybe even put up photographs of past block parties." Just then, Mia's phone buzzed again. This time it was her dad. She hesitated before responding, feeling exposed by the whirlwind of emotions crashing inside her. "Hey, Dad." "Mia." His tone was grave, a rare sound, and it sent a chill down her spine. "Your mother sounds overwhelmed. Is everything okay with you?" "Yeah, I'm managing," she replied, her voice trailing off as she considered the truth. How could she say she was anything but managing? "You know we're here for you, right?" he said gently. "Not just Mom. I'm proud of how you juggle everything. Just don't forget your family needs you too." The sincerity in his words sent a lump rising in her throat. She felt the pressure of their struggles pressing down like an anvil. "I'll try to balance it all, Dad. Just promise to keep me in the loop." "I will," he assured her before hanging up. Mia blinked away, the moisture pooling in her eyes. She inhaled deeply, swallowing the hurt. The block party had become more than just an event. It was now a way to bridge the gap between her dual worlds. "Are you okay?" Theo asked softly when he noticed her silence. "Yeah," she said, though her voice wavered slightly. "Just thinking about how to make this work." Theo gave her a warm smile, and something about it felt like a promise of support, understanding, and maybe even friendship rooted in something deeper. As they moved through the evening planning, Mia felt a flicker of hope. She could face her family drama and be there for the community too. If the party could bring them together, maybe real connections could help them heal. But in the corner of her mind, doubt lingered. Could her family really understand how important this was? And what if they didn't? With uncertain steps forward, Mia found herself wondering, could combining joy with sorrow unlock unexpected truths? As the crew buzzed around her, one thing became clear. The answers she sought lay not just within her, but also in the stories yet to be uncovered around her. Could this block party truly be the bridge she needed? The thought lingered, sparking curiosity as they brainstormed the next step. Mia immersed herself in the planning, trying to channel her anxiety into action. With every sticky note added, every idea tossed around, she felt a sense of purpose, a spark igniting the dim corners of her mind. The party had the potential to be more than just fun, it could be a lifeline. Theo was animated as he described the local musicians he wanted to feature, tapping the table excitedly. Imagine this neighborhood coming together, sharing their talents. People hanging out, laughing, forgetting their worries. Mia caught Chloe's eye. And if we add the storytelling corner, we could encourage everyone to reconnect. Storytelling can be powerful. It's about sharing our struggles and celebrating our wins. Exactly. This block party could help us heal as a community, Chloe replied, her enthusiasm spreading like wildfire. But shadows of doubt crept back in. What if the party wasn't enough? What if bringing everyone together only highlighted the fractures in her own family? Hey, what if we put up a big board where folks can write what they love about this neighborhood? Could be a place for gratitude, too, Theo suggested, pulling her from her spiral. Yeah. A gratitude wall, Mia said, grinning at him. It's small, but it could make a big impact. Kind of like reminding us why we're all here in the first place. As the ideas bounced around the table, Mia felt a little more buoyant. She was beginning to see overlap between her family's struggles and broader community challenges. A reflection of one another. Maybe they didn't need to compartmentalize their lives so rigidly. Maybe everyone was in this together, weaving different threads of their stories into a tapestry of resilience. The group finally shifted focus to logistics, creating a checklist of what needed to be done by the upcoming week. They divided duties, and Mia felt a rush of relief. This tangible movement forward was empowering. She glanced at Theo, who was diligently taking notes. There was something about his presence that felt grounding, like a compass guiding her through the storm. But as they wrapped up their meeting for the night, Mia's heart sank as she remembered her family waiting for her at home. She needed to talk to her mom, particularly about that heavy request that hung between them. Would her mom be open to the idea of sharing their struggles as part of the storytelling corner? In that moment, Mia realized that she had to approach the conversation delicately. It might just be the bridge they needed to connect in the midst of their turmoil. Later that evening, Mia found herself staring at her phone, the screen illuminating her uncertain expression. Should she text her mom first or just walk into the house and face the music? As she paced around her room, her feet shuffling against the familiar floorboards, she felt that familiar knot tightening in her stomach. Mia? The gentle knock on her door surprised her. It was her father, a warm smile resting on his face. "Can we talk?" he asked, and she immediately recognized the concern in his voice. "Yes, please," she replied quietly. As they settled into her room, Mia took a deep breath. "Dad, about the block party?" And everything else she hesitated, her heart pounding. Suddenly, the walls felt inchingly close. She could sense her father ready to listen, to support, but could she truly lay it all out in a way that would resonate? Just then, the phone buzzed again. It was Theo with a simple message. "Remember, we're doing this together." Mia glanced back at her dad. The weight of her family's struggles hung heavy in the air. But wrapped in that weight, there was an opportunity. Could this conversation pave the way to a deeper understanding? "Dad, I need to share something important with you," as her voice filled the space. Mia felt the darkness ebb slightly, making way for honesty and connection. Could this heart-to-heart turn the tide in her family's story? The night stretched on, filled with both anxiety and hope, as uncertain words began to flow. Mia's heart raced as she spoke, each word heavier than the last. "It's about Mom. I think we need to really talk about everything, our struggles, the way we feel. We can't keep pushing it all aside," she admitted, looking into her father's eyes for reassurance. Her dad's expression softened, and he leaned closer. "I know it's been tough for both of you. Your mom, she's just trying to protect us, to not burden us with her worries," he replied, searching for the right words. "But it is a burden. We're already feeling it," Mia implored, desperation creeping into her voice. I don't want to hide anymore. I want us to share what we're going through. That storytelling corner at the block party, what if we start there? Maybe it could inspire Mom to open up. There was a long pause as her father considered her words. Mia could see the gears turning behind his eyes, weighing what it would mean to confront the family's issues. I think you're onto something, he finally said, a hint of pride in his voice. You know, I've been thinking about how we haven't been a family like we used to be. But this storytelling idea, it might be just what we need to rebuild those connections. A glimmer of hope sparked in Mia's chest. She felt like the walls, which had felt so suffocating moments ago, were beginning to shift, maybe even fracture just enough for brightness to seep through. Do you think Mom will be okay with sharing? She asked hesitantly. We won't know until we ask, he replied gently, a smile creeping onto his lips. The moment was a fragile one, but it sparked something in Mia, a determination to push forward. Maybe their family was not as broken as she felt. Maybe sharing their truths could heal them. Okay, Mia said, resolution clear in her voice. Let us talk to her together. What if we suggest sharing our stories at the block party? Just the three of us first? Sounds like a solid plan, her father agreed, looking proud. But remember, we have to be patient with her. If this is going to work, we can't rush it. Yeah, Mia whispered, feeling the solid bond between her and her dad form anew. We can't leave her behind. Later that night, as Mia lay in bed, she felt a swell of anticipation. Was this the beginning of mending their family? Excitement mixed with uncertainty danced in her chest. With her focus on the block party, she believed they could find a way out of the silence that had consumed them. But as she closed her eyes, an uneasy thought flickered through her mind. What if they couldn't reach her mom? What if opening up was just too much for her? Mia shivered at the thought, but then recalled Theo's message. We're doing this together. Maybe that was the key. She wasn't alone in this, and neither was her mom. Just then, her phone buzzed again. It was Theo. Hey, I've got a surprise for you for the party. Can we meet up tomorrow? Mia's curiosity piqued, but a new wave of anxiety rolled in. She had just started to see a glimpse of hope with her dad. Was she ready to tackle whatever Theo had planned? What could his surprise entail, and how would it shape the narrative of both the block party and her family? Tomorrow's meeting felt like a crossroads, pivotal and uncertain. Mia woke to the sun streaming through her window, casting a warm glow across her room. Today was crucial. She could feel it in her bones. After the conversation with her dad, a spark ignited within her. Hope curled into her heart, battling the nagging doubts that threatened to dim it. With a quick breakfast and hair thrown into a messy bun, she glanced at her phone. Nothing from Theo yet, but she knew he'd be eager to share his surprise. In the moment of stillness, she contemplated the block party. It was supposed to be a day of laughter and fun, but now it felt like a clearing, the kind that opened up right before a thunderstorm. As she stepped outside, the neighborhood buzzed with the spirit of the upcoming festivities. Neighbors hung colorful streamers, children chased each other with balloons, and the smell of barbecued burgers wafted through the air, mingling with the sweetness of cotton candy. Mia's heart raced. She could be part of something bigger today. She spotted Theo across the street, animatedly talking to a group of friends. His smile was infectious as he turned to her, waving energetically. As she approached, she felt the knot in her stomach loosen just a bit. But there it was again, the question of what his surprise could mean. Would it help her family or add to the pressure they were already feeling? Mia, he called out, his excitement palpable. You're gonna love this. What is it? She asked, trying to contain her own anticipation. Hurry up. Let South go to my place first, he said, grabbing her wrist. She followed, heart thrumming. They darted through the vibrant crowd, dodging familiar faces and friendly hellos, until they reached his porch. Theo pulled out a large cardboard box, covering it with a cloth. Okay, but before I show you, you have to promise me something, he said, looking at her earnestly. What? Promise you'll open up, too. Whatever I'm about to show you, it has to start with honesty and bravery, he said, locking eyes with her. Mia hesitated, a wave of nerves washing over her. Okay, I promise. He whipped the cloth away, revealing a beautiful set of handmade journals, bright colors, smooth covers, each one uniquely designed. I thought we could use these for storytelling, you know? He said, bubbling over with excitement. At the block party, we can get everyone to write or share their stories. It could be anything, silly memories, tough times, whatever. It might help you and your family, especially your mom. Her breath caught. What if this was exactly what they needed? A push to break down the walls, not just for her family, but for the whole community. It was brilliant and terrifying. Do you think it'll work? Mia asked, her heart pounding in her chest. It has to. It's all about connection, right? He replied, his smile infectious. Her mind raced. This could be the shift they were waiting for, or it could open old wounds that were better left untouched. But what Theo seemed to see, that honesty, that togetherness, could it really transform the connections they had almost lost? Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. It was her dad. Ready to talk to your mom? We're at the park. Mia's heart dropped. Today was their day to confront the silence. But with Theo's surprise swirling in her mind, she wondered if she could handle it all. Could she dive into her own story while still holding space for her family's? Feeling both exhilarated and overwhelmed, she turned to Theo, determination settling in her bones. Let us do this together. I think it's time we made some noise. They shared a hopeful look, and in that moment, Mia knew they were already moving toward something real. But as the weight of the day pressed on, the question lingered. Would her mom be ready to join them, or would their plans unravel before they even began? Mia stood at the entrance of the park, the bright colors of the block party swirling in her vision like a vivid dream. Everything had come together, the laughter, the food stalls, the vibrant decorations. Yet beneath the joyful sounds, a heaviness weighed on her heart. Today was pivotal. She could feel it in the air, electric and charged with potential. As she scanned the crowd, she spotted her dad, waving her over. We're ready, he shouted, excitement twinkling in his eyes. He stood next to her mom, who had a hesitant smile, but it was full of warmth that melted the strains of tension. Mia approached, Theo at her side, their connection a comforting buoy. Hey Mom, Dad, we wanted to talk about something important today, about sharing our stories. She began, her voice steadying. Stories? Her mom echoed, brows knitting slightly in confusion. They can help us connect, especially now. Theo chimed in, his enthusiasm shining. At the block party, we want everyone to share their stories. Could be a way for us to remember what matters, and maybe it'll help you too. Mia held her breath, her heart pounding like a drum. Would her mom be receptive? Would she see the glimmer of hope in their idea? Her mom paused, eyes flickering with uncertainty. Mom, I know things are tough, Mia pressed, taking a tentative step closer. But we can't hide anymore. We're still a family, and that means sharing both the joyful and painful parts of our lives. Her dad nodded in agreement. We've been navigating the storm together, but we need to talk about where we are, where we all are. Today can be a new beginning. Please, can we try? Mia's mom drew in a deep breath, her chest rising and falling as she searched their eyes. Mia's pleading face and her husband's encouraging gaze. Slowly, the walls around her started to crack. Okay, I'll try, she whispered, her voice barely above the chatter that surrounded them. Relief flooded through Mia. Thank you, Mom. Let us do this together. The seconds felt like hours as they moved toward the makeshift storytelling corner. The buzz of the party enveloped them, and Mia could sense the collective heartbeat of their community growing louder. She felt Theo's reassuring presence beside her. Each step forward was a step into uncharted territory as they reached the corner, lined with colorful carpets and cushions for families to sit. Mia's heart surged with anticipation. Let us start with the journals Theo brought, she suggested, excitement bubbling within her. Everyone can write down their stories, and we can share them here or even perform them. Theo chimed in, his hands waving in animated enthusiasm. We'll set up a small stage for those who want to share aloud. The idea hung in the air, and slowly, smiles returned to her mom's eyes. I can do that. Share something. she said, her tone lighter, as if relieved by the mere act of acknowledging their struggles. Maybe I'll start with my favorite memories in this town. Optimism sparkled in the crowd as people began to gather, drawn by the idea of sharing their voices. Soon, laughter filled the space, and stories began to flow. Mia glanced at Theo, who was jotting down the first names of eager participants. He looked up and winked at her, an unspoken agreement passing between them. They would support one another, bolstering each other as hopes. As her mom took the mic, her voice wavering at first, Mia held her breath. The crowd hushed, a mix of familiar neighbors and friendly faces gathering around. I grew up here, in this beautiful town, her mom began, and as she spoke, the stories poured forth like water from a stream, flowing freely, unblocking truths that had long been buried. Mia felt a lump rise in her throat as she watched her mom embrace vulnerability, sharing both the struggles they faced and the love that still existed between them. The weight of silence broke, replaced by something tangible, a connection that wrapped itself around them like a warm embrace. When her mom finished, the crowd erupted into applause, tears glistening in Mia's eyes. She stepped forth, her heart aflame. "Thank you for sharing that, Mom," she said softly. "We all have stories that bind us. I'm proud of you." It was a moment of collective healing. People began sharing stories of resilience, laughter, and love, tears intertwining with the laughter, creating a symphony of emotion that echoed through the park. As she listened, Mia felt the weight of her own struggles fade, replaced with renewed strength in this newfound connection. The food stalls buzzed with excitement, the music pulsed with life, and the laughter rang bright. Mia couldn't help but smile as she reached out for her mom's hand. "We did it," she whispered, the air thick with hope. "Together," her mom replied, squeezing Mia's hand tightly. "I end this moment of unity." Something profound shifted in Mia. The journey wasn't just about her anymore. It was about the community and the shared spirit that strengthened them all. A new beginning blossomed in her heart. As dusk fell, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the stories continued to flow. This was just the start. One by one, each tale spun a tapestry of connection. Mia knew they had collectively stepped toward healing, and each shared story became a thread binding them together in a deeper understanding of what family, both chosen and blood, truly meant. This wasn't just a block party. It was a celebration of life, love, and the unbreakable bonds holding them all together. At that moment, Mia turned to the crowd. Her heart soared. "Thank you for being here, for sharing. This is only the beginning. Let us continue to lift each other up and tell our stories." And with that, the warmth of community wrapped around her, igniting a powerful transformation among them, one bound by connection, resilience, and hope. If you felt the impact of this story, now is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss future exclusive stories. Leave a like right now to boost the algorithm and keep this community thriving. Comment below your reactions, feelings, and what you loved about this ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the light together.